All right, we're ready for game 2 tonight. We've got Madison Plains against Miami Trace, and that game will get underway in just under 20 minutes. We're going to take a break here still. We're going to stay here as far as we're not going back to programming as far as ZAA. I want to remind everybody that we've got college basketball next week. On Tuesday, we've got the ODU game, and I'm not really sure who they... Let me see if I can get on our website and get you all the information on both those games, because I wasn't sure whether we're playing on the second game at Columbus State, whether we're playing on a Friday or Saturday. I'll bring up the Campus Nation website and see what the information I can pass on to you. And we want to remind you also that all the video from tonight's game as well as Saturday's game will be available just as soon as we can process it. Usually takes us a couple days, especially when we're doing doubles like this. We'll try to have tonight's game available on Saturday and Saturday's game available on Monday. Well, one of the reasons that I don't have that information, we have not posted yet our games for next week. Rounding out, of course. All right, we're ready for game 2 tonight. We've got Madison Plains against Miami Trace, and that game will get underway in just under 20 minutes. We're going to take a break here still. We're going to stay here as far as we're not going back to programming as far as ZAA. I want to remind everybody that we've got college basketball next week. On Tuesday, we've got the ODU game, and I'm not really sure who they... Let me see if I can get on our website and get you all the information on both those games, because I wasn't sure whether we're playing on the second game at Columbus State, whether we're playing on a Friday or Saturday. I'll bring up the Campus Nation website and see what the information I can pass on to you. And we want to remind you also that all the video from tonight's game as well as Saturday's game will be available just as soon as we can process it. Usually takes us a couple days, especially when we're doing doubles like this. We'll try to have tonight's game available on Saturday and Saturday's game available on Monday. Well, one of the reasons that I don't have that information, we have not posted yet our games for next week. Rounding out, of course, this year, we'll have these two games tonight, as well as the games on Saturday. And then we'll go into the holiday break and be back Tuesday. And I think that the game is on the 5th with Columbus State. That would make it a Friday, so next Friday night with Columbus State. And we may have some girls basketball and maybe even a Wilmington game next week as well. We'll try to have all that posted this weekend. So just stay tuned to the site. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break here, and we will be back to give you this second half action as far as the second game between Plains and Trace. Well, we want to welcome you all to the nightcap of the 4 teams, 2 games that we play tonight at the McDonald's Holiday Classic. This will pit the Panthers. They'll be hosting, I guess you could say they're wearing the whites, with Madison Plains, the Golden Eagles. So this game will be getting underway in just under 6 minutes now. We're going to do a formal ID for the station here. I want to remind you that you're listening to CampusNation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school and college sports, as well as WZAA 106.9 LPFM. We're in Jeffersonville, Ohio, and this is what we will do for formal ID.
106.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
And, of course, our sponsor, Ohio Christian University. And we will be seeing them this Tuesday night. And so we're excited. This will be our first basketball game at Ohio Christian. And so we'd like you all to tune in. I think we'll get underway probably around 7 o'clock. But we'll have all that posted over the holiday weekend. We'll have most of the month of January posted here by the time New Year's Eve rolls around. So you can check our website on CampusNation.com and see everything that's coming up in the month of January here for basketball and other sports. And bringing you the broadcast tonight, yours truly, Rick Phillips. We've also got Zach Bayless doing our play-by-play. And Tyler Curtis is over on camera 2, giving you all that great video that you'll see on our website. This game tonight, more than likely by Saturday, and then the Saturday games, more than likely by Monday or Tuesday. In our first game tonight, Greenview was an easy winner as they defeated the London Red Raiders in our opening game tonight. And we're just getting ready in about 3.5 minutes to start our nightcap.
Welcome in here. Game 2 has us the Miami Trace Panthers against the Madison Plains Golden Eagles here. We got just under 2 minutes to go here until we tip off. Both teams have been warming up. In Game 1, if you missed it, Greenview took the game over top of London, 63-38 here And in this game, Miami Trace comes in, winning this tournament at least the last 2 or 3 years that I can remember, and they've been dominant of late here. Of course, they've lost a lot. So has Madison Plains, though. But in talking to Madison Plains, one of the keys to the game is going to be to stop Tyree and to stop Carter. Carter's the point guard, and Tyree is a forward. And these two guys are a huge emphasis for Madison Plains. And talking to Coach Stewart, their head coach, and the keys to the game. They also are planning to play a box and one with them face guarding Darby Tyree, number 35 here. So both teams will head out for the national anthem. We'll hear the sportsmen talk and all that good stuff. In the meantime, we'll take a break and pause for the national anthem. Actually, they will do the starting lineup before the national anthem. So for Madison Plains, we have Jeffrey Whitman, a senior, Matthew Johnson, a sophomore, Jacob Toops is a senior, Ian Richards, a senior, and the last starter is Spencer Razika, who is a junior.
Since they did the national anthem at the beginning of the tournament night, they may not do the national anthem.
We'll see what they have here for us. For Miami Trace, it is Cameron Carter. He is a senior. Followed behind him is Adam Ginn. Ginn is also a senior. And behind him is Brett Lewis. Lewis is a senior as well. Heath Cockrell is also a senior. And the final starter for Miami Trace is Darby Tyree.
And Tyree literally takes games that we've watched him play on his back, and a lot of Miami Trace's fortunes have been just whether he is hot or not, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he is a dominant player for Miami Trace.
So both teams heading out to center court, and we're going to tip this thing off. Game 2 of the McDonald's Classic Tournament set to get underway, and the opening tip goes to Miami Trace. Carter will have the basketball. Being defended by Jacob Toops. He'll get a ball screen from Tyree. Tyree with the basketball. Top the key, defended by Ian Richards. Tyree's going to step back and will jack up a three. That one rattles around. Rebound brought down through traffic by Razika, but it's stolen away by Miami Trace. Here's the pass into the paint. Over with the basketball is Carter. He'll shoot a three, and he has it. Miami Trace coming out here in a press. Johnson with the basketball, gives it over to Whitman. Back to Johnson. Johnson throws it ahead to Richards to break the press. Here's Whitman with the basketball in between his legs, driving, throws up a floater off the glass, no good, but it's followed, and he can't get it to go. Richards brings the rebound down, and he'll put it up and in. Madison Plains will pound the offensive glass hard in this one. Carter bringing the ball up, gives it off to Cockrell. Cockrell down the post to Tyree. Tyree spins with the left hand, too strong, and it's rebounded by Miami Trace. Ginn with the rebound. Now, here's another three-pointer by Miami Trace, no good. That was Cockrell with the basketball. Here's Jacob Toops with the ball, gives it off to Johnson. He'll bring it up and set up a play call. Johnson gives it off to Richards. Back over to Whitman. On the far side corner to Johnson. Johnson top the key to Razika. Razika will shoot a three, they're going to count it as a two, but it'll rattle home. 4-3, Madison Plains. 6.5 to go here in the first quarter. Here's the pass to top the key to Cockrell. Over into the post to Tyree. Tyree being doubled. He'll put it up over both, and he can't get it to go. Rebound brought down by Razika. Here's Whitman with the ball as Coach Stewart from Madison Plains tells them to settle down and run offense. Razika over the corner to Whitman. He'll tee up a three and has it. Boy, we saw Whitman in his last game. He wasn't really connecting. I think he was 4 of 26 the last game, but tonight he gets his first three-pointer to go. Here's the pass over to Lewis. Lewis will give it off to Tyree. He'll drive in for a left-handed layup. Johnson taking it out of bounds for Madison Plains. Trace still pressing. Johnson bringing it up, gets it across to Jacob Toops. Near side. Toops tries to split defenders, but it's stolen. Getting away with the steal, and now Whitman comes over and steals it right back from Madison Plains. Here's Toops at the top of the key, waiting for everyone to get back. Johnson with the basketball. Johnson driving, hands it off to Razika. Razika pulls up for a jumper, and he'll swish it home. Now here comes Miami Trace, quickly back down the court. Carter. He'll kick it over to a wide open player, and he'll pull up for a jumper, and that is good. Lewis on the jumper for Miami Trace. Here's Whitman with the basketball, gives it up to Johnson, up the far sideline. He'll skip it ahead to Razika. Razika for three. Good! Wow, it's been a barn burner so far to start this game off. 12-7 Madison Plains with just under 5 to go here. Starkly different from the first game where both teams couldn't hit as Ginn drives in for Trace, and he can't get it to go. Johnson comes away with the rebound for Madison Plains. Here's Toops, kicks ahead to Razika. Razika driving to the basket and takes contact. No call there, but he gets his own rebound, puts it up, and it rattles around. No good. Carter with the rebound for Miami Trace. Carter bringing it up, driving straight through traffic, and he puts it up, and he's stripped, and it goes off his knee, out of bounds, back to Madison Plains. Subs for Miami Trace. Into the ball game comes Dakota Bolton, Austin Matthews, and Austin Brown. Toops gets it in to Whitman on the near sideline. Whitman driving up the sideline, being doubled, and it's knocked out of bounds off Carter's hands. Madison Plains taken out here on the sideline. Inbounds to Ian Richards. He'll hand it off to Johnson, and Madison Plains will set their offense up. Johnson hands it off to Razika, top of the key. Johnson driving to his left, gives it off to Richards. Richards takes a jab and pulls up for a three, and it's left way too wide. Comes up with nothing but air. It'll go back to Miami Trace. Carter bringing the ball up the court for Trace. He'll give it off to the near side here to Bolton. Bolton to the top of the key to Brown, over to the far wing. And here's a wide open three-pointer, top of the key, good for Miami Trace. Coach Stewart not happy for Madison Plains that they left that guy wide open. That was Carter for three. Now here's Johnson. He'll kick ahead to Razika, and he'll get the ball knocked out of bounds by Tyree. Will remain with Madison Plains. Whitman will inbound to Toops. He's trapped in the corner, and it'll come back to Whitman. And Tyree says it went off Whitman's hands, but they say it's off Trace, so it will remain with Madison Plains. Whitman inbounding on the far sideline. And he throws it in really to no one in particular, but it lands in the hands of Razika from Madison Plains. Here's Johnson bringing it up. He's going to get trapped in the backcourt. Tries to throw ahead to Razika. He saves it into Toops, down to Richards. Richards gets it knocked away, and it'll go out of bounds and remain with Madison Plains. That was Carter who came over on the help and stripped it away. Whitman taking it out of bounds, inbounds it to Toops. Toops driving to his right. Kicks it to the corner to Johnson. Johnson for three. Good! Oh. Man, that thing just skied in, and the refs are going to have to blow the whistle to get the net that got caught up in the rim. That's how good that shot was. 15-10 here, 3:07 remaining here in the first quarter. Madison Plains hitting on their shots, something we didn't see the other night against Greenon. Here's the basketball at the top of the key to Brown. Over to the opposite side to Matthews. He'll tee up a three. Off the back iron, no good. Rebound brought down Matthews from Madison Plains. Matthews, baseball pass ahead to Razika. He'll get it, lays it in with his left hand, and one. Wow. Madison Plains just threw a baseball pass ahead. That was Johnson who threw it and wildly landed in the hands of Razika. He puts up a left-handed layup as soon as he caught it and was fouled by Brown for Trace. and he'll go to the line to complete the and one. And the free throw is up, but it's too strong. Richards fights for the rebound for Plains, but it comes away in Miami Trace's hands. Now here comes Carter. As he'll pull up from three with the defender in his face, it's left short. Rebound brought down Richards for Plains. Toops will give it off to Johnson. Johnson setting up a play for Madison Plains. Hands it off to Rizika. Rizika driving, spins, throws it up wildly with his right hand, but it comes up with nothing but the backboard. And down at the rebound is Tyree. He'll bring it up the court. Tyree backing down his defender, gives it off to Cameron Carter, and he makes a mid-range jumper. 12-17, Madison Plains. Here's Whitman being pressed, trapped, and he nearly loses the ball as Coach Stewart from Madison Plains has to call a timeout. 2:01 remaining here in the first quarter. 17-12, Madison Plains ahead of Miami Trace.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest-growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today, 855-OCU-GRAD, or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Back here in Miami Trace for Game 2 of this McDonald's Classic Holiday Tournament. And on top so far in this ball game, through about 6 minutes of play here in the first quarter, is Madison Plains 17-12, and they'll have the ball after they had to call a timeout because they weren't going to get the ball across the court as Whitman went to his knees and was being trapped. So Toops will take it out of bounds on the far side. Inbounds it to Rizika, back to Toops. Toops being trapped, needs help. Toops throws it ahead to Rizika, and it's stolen by Brown, and he'll try to lay it in, but is fouled by Johnson. Or excuse me, that was Jacob Toops who came over and fouled him. Austin Brown will go to the line, the junior. And his left-handed free throw is up and good. Second free throw from Brown is also good. 14-17. Madison Plains ahead of Miami Trace. Under 2 to go here in the first. Richards with the ball. Tries to throw it across court for a layup to Johnson, but it's knocked out of bounds and will remain with Madison Plains. Matthew Johnson is going to take it out of bounds here underneath on the near side. He'll unbound it to the corner to Whitman. He tries a three, but is blocked out of bounds by Brown. So Madison Plains will have to take it right back out on the sideline. Here's an inbound to Toops, top the key. Gives it off to Johnson on the far side. Johnson walking it over to the top of the key. Driving to his left, drives straight through the middle, gives it off to Richards. He'll go up with a right-handed hook. It's too strong. Rebound brought down Carter. Here's Carter from Miami Trace, pushing it ahead. Carter breaks his defender's ankles and nails a three. That was Toops who went down, and he looks like he's in some pain.
I didn't see. I mean, was it just that he actually juked him that much that he went, or was there actually some contact?
Yeah, I think he actually just, Toops went one way and Carter went the other way, and Toops probably turned his ankle wrong. I'm not going to try to speculate on it, but he went down and was pounding the floor. We'll see how he ends up as the coaches go over to take a look at him as well as the trainers. So we mentioned earlier in this ball game that Valerie would play, but right before the game time decision, Coach Stewart decided it was not best to play him, so he's on the end of the bench in a jumpsuit for Madison Plains. And we'll see if Ernst gets some action again tonight as he did against Greenan, the other night we saw him. Both teams over to their sidelines, just talking things over.
Well, he's up. Favoring, it looks like a right, left. Got a left ankle or knee problem?
Yeah, something wrong with the left leg of Tubes, so he'll head to the bench and get checked out by the trainers. We'll let you know on his status as soon as we get it. So into the ball game for Tubes is Holbrook. We saw him the other night. He got in a bunch of foul trouble when we had him, but he does pound the glass pretty hard for Madison Plains, and they're going to need it with the tall nucleus of Brown and Tyree for Miami Trace. Madison Plains will take it out of bounds, full court here. Ruzicka taking it out on the near side. He'll try to throw it in, but it's deflected out of bounds in the corner. Tyree got a hand on that one. So Richards will take it out of bounds.
We're all tied up here, 17 all.
He gets it into Johnson, but Johnson gets it stripped away from Tyree, and he'll get fouled and head to the free throw line. Boy, that's got to be hard, especially in that spot in the corner with the length of the 6'6" Tyree. And that's got to be hard to get it in bounds. And when it was, it's in a spot where Miami Trace has a good opportunity to trap, and it was stolen right away. And Tyree's going to the free throw line, connects on his first free throw. 18-17, Miami Trace takes the lead. 1:17 to go here in the first. And the second free throw is good, as well as Miami Trace will have the substitution. Heath Cockrell will come into the game for Dakota Bolton. Richards taking it out of bounds, gets it into Whitman. Whitman gives it off to Richards. Miami Trace still showing press. Whitman now to Richards, and they break it. Richards skips it across to Johnson. He'll tee one up from deep and nails it. Here comes Miami Trace. Cockrell thinks about taking a three, but gives it right back out to Carter. Carter on the near sideline wing. Gets a ball screen from Tyree. Thinks about throwing it down low, but skips it over to Brown. He'll take a three. No good. Holbrook just goes over top of Tyree and grabs the rebound. That's what he does off the bench. Here comes Johnson driving to his right. Kicks it to the top of the key to Whitman. Whitman from deep, and that one won't go. Rebound brought down by Brown. Here's Miami Trace kicking ahead. Carter gives it off to Matthews for a layup. 21-20, Miami Trace with the lead here with about 22 seconds to go. Richards gets it inbounds to Ruzicka. Ruzicka over to Johnson. Madison Plains breaks the press. Johnson gives it off to Whitman. Whitman driving baseline floater, too strong, but it's rebounded by Richards from Madison Plains. Here's Ruzicka in the corner for three. He leaves it short. Rebound brought down Carter. Tyree, 3 seconds left. He's going to have to jack it up from deep and nearly banks it in, but it doesn't go. So after an eventful first quarter, the score is 21-20. Miami Trace coming back to take the lead, but both teams hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, exciting first quarter play. 21-20 with
yeah, it's
been back and forth the whole game.
Yeah. And it's different from what we saw in the first game, as we saw both teams struggle a little bit in the start with Greenview taking off. And we'll see here how Madison Plains fares. But I like what Madison Plains has done so far. They've come out and they've hit the bigger, faster, quicker team in the mouth. And they're saying, we're not coming here to get beat in this tournament. We're going to come here after getting a break from Christmas, after getting beat kind of a little bit badly by Green, and we're going to come in here and we're going to fight.
They definitely look like they're game for some competition tonight.
Yeah, for Madison Plains through the first quarter, Spencer Ruzicka leads the scoring for them with 9 points, and for Miami Trace, it's Carter with 11 points through the first period of play. So both teams will exit their huddles, and it'll be Madison Plains ball to start. If you're just tuning in, we have an awkward vantage point here as we're calling this game, so we are pretending like we're calling it from the home side stands. Madison Plains going towards their left. Miami Trace coming out.
A virtual call, right?
Yeah. Miami Trace comes out in a zone where they tried to throw it down to Holbrook, and it's stolen by Carter. Here's Carter. Throws it off, and down to Tyree. He puts up a left-hand layup. No good, but he tips it right back in.
Back and forth.
Here's Johnson with the basketball, 23-20 here to start this second period of play. Johnson with the basketball, gives it off to Rizika. Pass down to Holbrook. He'll lay it in. Good ball movement there by Madison Plains. Here comes Carter. Kicks it to the corner to Cockrow. He's got a three, and he'll make it. Not a whole lot of defense being played early on here. Here's Rizika. Kick over to Richards on the near side wing. Kick over to Johnson. Johnson will hand it off to Richards. Richards over to Whitman. He'll pull up for a mid-range jumper as he had his defender off his feet and makes it. Now here's a pass ahead for Miami Trace. And a jump shot is good by Brett Lewis.
Whoa.
28-24, just under 7 to go here in the second quarter as the pass ahead to Richards was knocked out of bounds by Tyree. Whitman will take it out of bounds on the side and gets it into Johnson. Johnson being double teamed in the backcourt. Johnson gets it past the timeline. Ahead to Rizika. Rizika driving, goes up into contact, gets hit, and Holbrook cleans it up and puts it in. 4 quick points by Holbrook and about 3 rebounds. And now Miami Trace. Carter comes the other way and lays it right back in coast to coast. Whitman gets it stolen right back away from Carter. Carter tries to drive to the basket but gets fouled. And Carter has 13 points already to go here in this game, and we're just beginning the second quarter. The foul was called on Johnson for Madison Plains. That's his first foul, Madison Plains will defend as Darby tees up a 3. Rebound brought down by Whitman for Madison Plains. Whitman gets it ahead to Rizika. Wide open on the near side wing. Leaves it short. Holbrook brings it down, spins around, throws it up. No good. Brown comes down with the rebound for Miami Trace. Now here comes Carter. Carter thinks about pulling up. Will pull up mid-range and swishes it. Boy, Madison Plains has had no answer for Carter, and they're going to have to call a timeout after Trace goes on a run here, taking the lead 32-26, with Carter having 15 points already through 5.5 minutes, with 5.5 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. For Madison Plains, we talked about it from the start. The emphasis is to stop Tyree and to stop Carter. Well, so far, Carter's got 15 points on him. They have held Tyree to 6 so far, and it's been back and forth. Both teams jacking up a lot of threes. Not a whole lot of defense being played so far, Rick.
Not a lot of defense, no. But it's been an exciting game so far.
Definitely has, as Miami Trace comes out of the timeout called by Madison Plains. Madison Plains has to be careful here because if they let Miami Trace go too far here, they don't want to let the lead get too big where they can't come back. Miami Trace coming into this game as really supposed to be the team to beat Madison Plains. Madison Plains coming in having to fight back from all the adversity and a lot of youth. So Madison Plains will take it out of bounds full court. Here's Richards, inbounds it to Whitman. Whitman gives it off to Johnson on the near side. He'll throw it over to Richards. Richards driving to his right, picks up his dribble, throws it out to Johnson at the top of the key. Madison Plains will set up a play. Miami Trace in a 2-3 zone. Here's Rizika from the near side wing, thinks about a 3, decides not. Johnson with the ball at the top of the key. Driving to his right, gives it off to Whitman. Whitman over to Rizika. Rizika will tee it up and gets fouled as it almost falls, and he'll head to the free throw line for 3.
Yeah, not a wise decision to foul someone shooting a 3.
No, especially not with a shooter like Rizika who can go to the line and knock him down as well.
And the good thing is the clock is stopped and Madison Plains has an opportunity to draw close.
Yeah. So just as I say, Rizika pretty good at the line. He misses the first one, but he'll get 2 more.
It's at Hex.
Yeah. Shouldn't have said anything, should I have? That's on me. Madison Plains fans back home are saying that one's on me.
They know where you live.
Yeah. And he gets the second one to go as Toops will sub back into this game after going to the bench with a lower left leg injury. He'll check in for Holbrook, who gave Madison Plains some good minutes, a lot of rebounding and second chance opportunities, and he had 4 quick points and a few rebounds. So Rizika trying to connect on the last free throw, and he does. 32-28. Carter bringing the ball up for Miami Trace. Here's Cockrell left all alone on the far side wing, but he misses the three. Rebound brought down by Razika. Whitman gives it to Johnson in the backcourt. Johnson will bring it up for Madison Plains. Hands it off to Razika, driving to his right over to Whitman. Whitman gives it off to Razika. Razika thinks about a three, will drive to the basket, gets it blocked by Brown. Now here's a kick ahead for Miami Trace. And a pull-up shot by Lewis is no good. Toops comes in and gets the rebound, and he'll give it back to Johnson. Johnson hands off to Razika, gets double team, gives it back to Johnson, near side wing. Johnson in the post to Richards. Richards up and under and lays it in. Nice move there by Richards. Now here's a kick ahead to Cockrell. Cockrell down the post to Brown, and Brown is fouled by Johnson as he slid over to contest the shot, but got too much body on him, and Brown will head to the free throw line. That's Johnson's second foul on the night. And Brown connects on the first free throw. He'll get one more. Second free throw's up and switched home as well. Miami Trace will have a sub. Matthews comes into the ball game for Tyree. So Toops will inbound it here as Miami Trace puts on a press. And Johnson nearly got away with a travel there, but Madison Plains breaks it. Here's a kick ahead to the corner of Razika. He skips it over to Toops. Toops throws it down low to Richards. Richards backs down, puts up with the left, no good, follows his shot, and gets the rebound. Now it's kicked out to Johnson. Over to the corner, Razika. Razika, he says, traveled with the basketball as he's pretty upset with himself, and Coach Stewart tells him to calm down. 34-30, 4:11 to go here in the second quarter. Tyree will check back into the game for Miami Trace for Carter. For Madison Plains, Holbrook will check in for Razika. Bringing the ball up the court for Trace is Lewis. Lewis gives it off to Tyree on the far side wing. Tyree gets a ball screen, pulls up for three, leaves it way short, and it's out of bounds and will go back towards Madison Plains. Toops inbounds it to Johnson. Johnson dribbling the ball up the court. Trying to break this press, and he'll get across. Johnson splits two defenders, driving to the basket. They're going to call a foul.
Number 30.
They're going to call it on Austin Matthews. That's his first team foul as Carter checks back into the game for Miami Trace. He'll come in for Cockrell. Madison Plains here taking it out on the near sideline. Inbounds to the backcourt to Johnson. He'll get double team, picks up his dribble, nearly stolen by Carter. He'll get it ahead to Toops. Back over to Johnson on the near side. In between his legs, trying to get his defender off him. Pass down the post to Holbrook. He gets blocked by Tyree as he tried to just turn around and shoot a jumper right in the face of Tyree. Tyree brings it up, gives it off to Carter. Carter refuses the ball screen, throws it to the corner to Matthews. Matthews driving, throws it to the opposite side to Lewis. Back to Matthews. Top the key, left all alone. Too strong. Rebound brought down Whitman for Madison Plains. Here's Johnson bringing it up the near sideline. Johnson directing traffic. Throws it over to Holbrook. Holbrook back to Johnson on the near side wing. Over to the top the key to Richards. Richards looking down low, skips it over to Whitman in the corner. Whitman driving in the paint, throws up a wild shot, nearly gets it to go. Rebound brought down by Carter, but they're going to call a foul on Madison Plains.
Like it was under the basket somewhere.
No, they're going to call a foul on Miami Trace, excuse me. That was Matthews who picked up his second foul of the game. So Madison Plains will take it underneath, out of bounds on the near side. Johnson inbounds it to Toops at the top of the key. Tubes tries to throw it down low to Holbrook, nearly lost it. Holbrook takes a dribble and throws it back out to Whitman. Whitman top the key, gives it off to Johnson. Johnson hands it off to Richards. Richards, double team, throws it to the corner to Tubes. Left all alone. Tubes sets and fires and drains it. Tubes showing some toughness coming back in this ball game after hurting his lower leg. Now he's defending Carter at the top of the key. Tyree with the basketball. 33-34. Madison Plains down to Miami Trace. Now here's a skip pass to Lewis. Lewis top the key to Brown. He'll tee one up. That's off to the right. And it's rebound brought down by Tubes. Here's Johnson with the basketball. Johnson picks up his dribble, has nowhere to go. And it's going to be a 10-second call on Madison Plains. Turnover to Miami Trace.
Coach Stewart didn't look too happy with that.
Yeah. Well, I think he's more disappointed that his team didn't execute there. Nobody ran to the ball. So now here's Carter, who takes a shot right in Tubes' face. Rebound brought down by Trace. Here's up with the shot, and good is Matthews. 36-33, 1.5 minute remaining. Here's Whitman, who nearly gets it stripped, breaks the double team, driving to his right on the far side, spins, gives it off to Holbrook, but it goes through his hands and out of bounds. Tubes tried to save it, but couldn't get it, and it'll go back towards Miami Trace.
I think the Trace pressure is sort of rattling Madison Plains.
Yeah, well, really, Madison Plains is only having one point guard bringing up while everyone else clears out. And when Johnson gets in trouble, no one's coming to the ball.
That's right.
So at the top of the key with the basketball is Carter, defended by Tubes. He'll give it off to the near side to Matthews. Here's Tyree looking down low, defended by Richards. Good defense from Madison Plains. Tyree throws up a wild shot over three Madison Plains defenders and makes it. That's just tough to defend right there.
Great shot.
Under a minute to go here, 38-33. Madison Plains down to Trace. Here's Tubes for three, too strong. Rebound brought down by Carter. Here comes Miami Trace. Carter kicks it to the corner to Lewis. Lewis gets it. And they sag way off him as Carter gets it here on the far side. Back with the ball is Lewis. 30 seconds to go here as Matthews tees one up, leaves it short. Rebound brought down by Madison Plains. 38-33. Miami Trace on top of Madison Plains. 20 seconds to go here as Madison Plains appears to be taking the last shot. Here's Richards with the basketball. Being double teamed. Skips it over to Tubes. Tubes throws it down low to Holbrook. He'll turn around, shoot it over Tyree. No good. Rebound Carter. Here comes Miami Trace. Carter with the basketball. 3 seconds to go. Looks up, sees it, loses the ball, kicks it out to Lewis, and he doesn't get the shot off, and it wouldn't have went anyway. So we'll head to the halftime here at Miami Trace. 38-33. Miami Trace on top of Madison Plains.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today 855-OCU-GRAD or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Back here in Game 2 of the McDonald's Holiday Tournament at Miami Trace, the last year of the pit. It's been played here for quite some time, and it's going to be the last year that we play it here. But we've had a couple good games so far. In Game 1, it was Greenview 63-38 over London. But here in Game 2, it's been back and forth with Miami Trace kind of pulling away late there. But it's still reachable. It's 38-33 here at halftime. Trace ahead of Madison Plains. And let's just run through some unofficial stats that we have here for both teams. Carter for Miami Trace has been the key player. He's got 15 points. Follow behind him is Tyree with 8. Matthews has 4. Brown has 4, as well as Brett Lewis with 4. For Madison Plains, it's Whitman with 5 points, Johnson with 6 points, Tubes with 3 points, Richards with 4 points, and Holbrook with 4 points. And for them, it's Spencer Ezekiel with 9 points, leading the way scoring. So just about 8.5 minutes to go before both teams take the court again. We've had a pretty up and down game here so far. As it was Miami Trace coming in, really supposed to be the team to take it over. But Madison Plains has came out fighting so far, as Madison Plains is clearly the undersized team, and they really don't match up athletic-wise with Miami Trace with their big players and quick defenders and everything. But they've came out here and have done pretty well connecting on their shots, something different that we didn't see the other night against Greenham.
Yeah, the Golden Eagles definitely have been holding their own, and the Panthers, with a 5-point lead at the half, by no stretch of the imagination, is this salted away for the Panthers. So this is promising to be a good second half here.
Yeah, eventful first half, different from what we saw in the first game, as it was Greenview pretty much from the tip all over London. London couldn't make shots. Greenview just made tough shots. London didn't play bad defense, but it was just Greenview that prevailed in that game. Here we expected to probably be a little bit closer as we head down the stretch here. Both teams in their locker room at halftime.
And we'll take a short break here, and we will be back in a couple minutes. You're listening to CampusNation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school and college sports, and also WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio.
Two of them? Oh, yeah. Schools inside. It's like the champion one.
I got size for it, but it came way too big.
So what do you say during these games? Like, give me like a little breakthrough. Like, give me an action play. I use
so. Madison Plains has the basketball. We got a hard angle here to call the game because normally you're on the side, so you go right to left.
Yeah.
But so I'll say far side of the court when it's so if we're calling it from over here, this is the far side, that's the near side. So we're pretending like we're calling it from over there, so we can like keep it accurate. So I'm like Johnson. So if Johnson had the ball over by Miami Trace, I'd say Johnson with the ball on the far side, gets the ball screen from Richards, going over to his left, gives it off to Rosico on the opposite side wing. Rosico passes it over to the opposite post to Holbrook. Holbrook makes a move, puts it up with his right hand.
No good.
No good.
360 spin from the foot.
Does a 360 spin and tries to get over 6'6".
So you actually on the radio?
Yeah, we're on the radio.
Yeah, one day Zach and I will be calling games. Yeah, they're heartbreaking some brews.
106.9, it's out of Jefferson.
You're teaching? Isn't he on like ACC? Like,
He's big time. He played in Florida for a national championship. He does ACC shows. He does this artwork.
what are you doing tonight?
Well, we're back right here at the pit. We've got less than a minute before we get this second half of play between the Madison Plain Golden Eagles and our Miami Trace Panthers. Miami Trace currently leading 38-33, but by no stretch of the imagination can you say this game is a lock for Trace. Going to have to score a few more points. This Madison Plains team, they are fighters.
Back here in Miami Trace, 38-33. Both teams getting ready to come out and take the court here. We're in store for a pretty good finish as we saw a really good first half by both teams.
So it's going to be Trace's ball to start this second half.
Trace will be going towards the left side. Madison Plains will be going towards the right side. Carter will take the inbounds here. Miami Trace will set their play up. Carter driving to the far side. Throws it to the top, the key to Darby. Darby being defended by Richards. Driving to his right, hands it off on the far side wing. Over the near side wing to the near side corner, Brown. Brown being defended by Rizika. Here's it back to Brown at the top of the key. Gives it off to Tyree. Tyree, hand off to Carter. Near side wing. Over to Lewis. Far side corner to Cockrell. Madison Plains showing good defense so far out of the gates. Here's Carter, top the key. Driving to his left. Gives it off to Lewis. He'll step inside the arc, take a jumper, and hits it. His feet were right on the line, so it's only going to count for two. 40-33. Miami Trace ahead of Madison Plains. Johnson bringing the ball up the court for the Eagles. Hands it off to Rizika over the far side to Whitman, or the near side. Here's Rizika, tries to take a mid-range jumper, and it's tipped by Tyree. Carter bringing the ball up the court, up the near side for Miami Trace. Carter driving to his right, and he crossed over Toops, steps back three, no good. Toops comes down with the rebound. Johnson will bring the ball up the court for Madison Plains. Gives it off to Rizika, top the key. Down to Richards in the post, spins around, nice move, lays it off the glass, right over Brown. Now here's Cockrell with the ball up the far near sideline. Top the key to Tyree, he'll shoot it and make it right over Richards. That was a three-pointer, 43-35, Miami Trace over Madison Plains. 6:08 to go here in the second quarter. Toops with the ball, gives it over to Whitman. Whitman thinks about a three, driving to his right, throws up a wild scoop, hook shot, no good. Rebound brought down by Rizika, and they're going to call a foul on Miami Trace, and it'll remain with Madison Plains. They're going to give that foul to Cockrell. That's his second foul. Madison Plains will take it out of bounds underneath on the near side. Passes into Whitman on the near sideline. Whitman driving to the free throw line, gives it out to Johnson. Johnson, free throw line jumper, left all alone, and it hits the front rim and rattles in. 43-37, just under 6 to go here in the third quarter. Miami Trace ahead, and a pass down low is stolen by Johnson, but they're going to call a travel. Johnson stole it and dove on the ground, and he rolled on his back, and that's what they called the travel on. Normally, refs are going to give the benefit of the doubt to the player for getting on the floor for that one, but here in high school, they call it a lot closer. So Miami Trace jacks up a three, and Madison Plains will get the rebound. Here's Johnson with the basketball. Johnson hands it off to Rizika at the top of the key. Back to Johnson on the far side wing. Spins around, short corner jumper, swish! Well, I'll tell you what, Johnson has had some handles and is a big reason why Madison Plains is in this game tonight. Driving, dishing, creating for everybody. Here's Lewis on the far corner. Dribbles up to the wing, gives it off to Carter in the far corner. Now to Brown. Top the key, Cockrell kicks it to Lewis. He'll step inside the arc, puts up a jumper, no good. Rebound brought down Rizika. Here's Johnson, gives it off to Toops. Toops back over to Johnson, walking it up the near sideline. Under 5 minutes to go, 43-39, Miami Trace over at Plains. Here's Richard, steps in with a hook shot in the paint, tries to follow. It's tipped out of bounds, and they'll say it goes towards Miami Trace. Miami Trace will inbound it. Carter's going to walk it up. He'll be met by Toops at half court. He'll gives it off to Cockrell on the far side wing, defended by Jeffrey Whitman. Over to Brown, near side corner to Lewis. Lewis to the top of the key. Over to the far side corner, Lewis with the basketball. Top the key to Carter. Carter driving to his left, pull-up jumper, rattles in and out. It's rebound brought down by Tyree. He'll put it up with his left hand, a fadeaway jumper, and gets it to go. That's his 13th point of the night on that 2-point field goal. Here's Toops bringing it up the far sideline. Gets doubled, gives it off to Johnson. Johnson gives it back to Toops on the far wing. Back to Johnson. Johnson driving, middle of the paint, throws up a shot, and it's too strong. Rebound brought down by Richards. Richards kicks out to Toops. He thinks about a three-pointer, drives up mid-range, blocked by Carter. Carter takes it away. Now here comes Miami Trace. Here's Lewis, kicks ahead to Cockrell in the near corner, but Cockrell traveled with the basketball, so it'll go back towards Madison Plains. Subs for Miami Trace. Lewis will come into the basketball game, as well as Bolton. For Madison Plains, Holbrook will check in for Rizika. Miami Trace is going to play a press on Madison Plains, but they break it right away. Here's Johnson with the basketball. Top the key. Johnson driving. Gives it to Whitman. He'll tee up a three. Whitman will rattle it home with the defender in his face. Boy, Whitman's been on fire tonight. 45-42. And Miami Trace is just going to call a timeout here as Madison Plains goes on the run to cut this lead down 45-42.
They mix it up a lot, and I can listen to them for longer periods of time.
Extreme Radio.
106.9.
Got what I need.
Back here at Miami Trace, halfway through the third quarter, 45-42, as Miami Trace just called a timeout. Madison Plains cutting the deficit down and getting this thing back within reaching. Well, it really was never out of reaching distance for Madison Plains, as Trace went up by, I think the most was 8 points. But for a Trace team that can take off, that's kind of dangerous for Madison Plains, who came into this game the underdog, but are hanging right with the bigger, faster, stronger Trace.
So what was it? It was a 6-point lead at the half?
8-point lead.
8-point lead at the half? So we're down to 3 points.
Yeah.
So once again, like you say, Plains is hanging with Trace.
But it's more than just that. You can tell the momentum has shifted to Madison Plains, as Trace really has only relied on Tyree here, as Madison Plains has shut down Carter so far through this third quarter, and Tyree, just his bigger, taller presence, is over top of Madison Plains, putting the basketball in the hoop.
And that's basically it. I don't think that Plains can shut both of their top players down for Trace, so they have to work on one or the other, whoever's scoring at that time, I guess.
Yeah. Miami Trace gets it inbounds. Here's Brown with the basketball, gives it off to Carter on the far side wing. Carter off to Tyree. Far side corner, gets it down to Brown, but it's deflected out, but it's recovered by Miami Trace. Top the key is Matthews. Gives it off to Carter. Carter driving to his right, crosses over, back over to his right. Gives it off to the far side. Bolton with the basketball back to Carter. Here's near side Matthews. Takes a jab step. Is going to drive to his right. Gives it off to Carter. Carter left all alone for three, but it's nothing but air and will go out of bounds towards Madison Plains.
So Plains can pull within one or possibly even tie it up here.
Toops taking the ball out of bounds. Trace still with the pressure on. Trying to speed Plains up. Here's Toops, gets it across to Whitman as it was nearly stolen. Whitman driving to his right, Wild out of control, and they call a travel on him as he falls to the ground. Basketball will go back towards Miami Trace.
He was on his way down, and I think that's he actually picked that travel up even before he started to fall forward.
So Miami Trace will take it out of bounds. Bringing it up the court is Carter. Will give it off to Matthews. Now here's Tyree with the basketball. Tyree, step back mid-range jumper, too strong. Rebound brought down by Johnson as he tips toes to stay in bounds. Johnson walking it up the court. Gets it across the timeline. Picks up his dribble, gives it off to Toops on the far side wing. Toops tries to throw it down low. It's deflected, picked up by Johnson. Johnson will give it off to Holbrook. Holbrook pulls up, jumper in the lane, no good. Rebound brought down by Carter. Carter pushes all the way ahead to Tyree, who's left all alone and lays it up with the left hand. And here's a quick inbounds pass by Madison Plains, and a foul is going to be called on Austin Matthews as he tried to come over and steal it, but got a piece of Johnson. So that'll be Matthews' third foul of the night. We'll see how they play him here with 1:51 to go in the third quarter. 47-42, Miami Trace ahead of Madison Plains. Madison Plains trying to break the pressure the Trace has put on. Whitman with the basketball. Behind his back, breaks the pressure, gives it off to Toops, far side wing. Toops throws it over to Whitman, top the key. Whitman got fouled. He traveled, but he got fouled before the travel ever occurred. So they'll take it out of bounds underneath on the near side. Madison Plains. Sub for the Panthers into the ball game is Cockrell. He'll come in for Matthews. Johnson taking the ball out on the near side underneath for Madison Plains. Johnson throws it in. He thought Whitman was cutting back, but Miami Trace steals it, and Carter throws it up and gets fouled and will head to the free throw line. Boy, Madison Plains didn't do a very good job getting open there as Johnson had really nobody else to throw the basketball to. Thought Whitman was going to cut out, but instead cut in and just threw it right over to Miami Trace, and they go to the opposite end, get fouled, and will head to the free throw line. And Carter hits the first free throw. 48-42, Miami Trace. That's his 16th point of the night. Tyree was catching up with him in this quarter as Madison Plains has held Carter pretty quiet in this quarter. And his second free throw is good as well as Trace will have a sub. Lewis will come in for Cockrell. Madison Plains will have to go the distance of the court as they'll send in a sub. Ruzicka will check in for Holbrook. Toops will inbound it for Plains. Miami Trace still with their pressure on. Johnson gives it back to Toops. Toops over to Johnson. Johnson kicks it ahead to Richards. Richards thinks about skipping it over and does to Toops. Now here's Whitman. He'll tee up a three. Whitman, too strong. Rebound brought down Richards. He pump fakes but just takes it out and kicks it off to Johnson. Johnson skips it over to Ruzicka. Ruzicka will show up a three, but it's left short. Rebound brought down by Tyree. Tyree will bring it up for for Miami Trace. Tyree skips it over to the corner, driving to the basket and knocked out of bounds. That was Bolton who was driving and had it stripped. Here's the inbounds for Miami Trace. Carter with the basketball in the near side corner. Under 1 minute to play here in the third quarter. Lewis gives it off the corner to Bolton. Far side. Tries to get it down low to Brown, but it's stolen by Jeffrey Whitman. Madison Plains put a triple team on that time. Here's Toops with the basketball. Kicks it off to Ruzicka. Ruzicka over to Toops. Left all alone from the far side wing. Shoots a three, but no good. Rebound brought down by Tyree amongst two Madison Plains defenders. Here's Tyree. Kicks it ahead to Bolton. Bolton kicks it out to Tyree. Far side wing. Rejects the ball screen. Throws it down to Brown. Brown gets the ball stripped by Richards, and they'll call a foul on Miami Trace, but it's only their fourth team foul versus Madison Plains' first team foul. So 21.7 seconds to go here in the third quarter, 49-42 Miami Trace. Madison Plains bringing the ball up the court. We'll see if they hold it for the last shot. Here's Toops. Kicks ahead to Whitman. Whitman back to Toops, over to Johnson. Under 10 seconds to go. Johnson near side. 6 seconds. Johnson crossing over, hands off to Toops. Toops driving, kicks it corner to Ruzicka. Ruzicka doesn't, Madison Plains won't even get a shot up as they didn't recognize where the clock was, and that's not very good game management, clock management by Madison Plains, as we'll head to the fourth quarter, 49-42, Miami Trace ahead of Madison Plains. Back here in the second game of tonight's action here at the McDonald's Classic Holiday Tournament here. The later game here tonight has been Madison Plains against Miami Trace, as it's been a pretty good game so far. Here in the second half, both teams have came out to play a little bit more defense than they played in the first quarter, with the score 49-42, Miami Trace over top of Madison Plains. That's basically how it's been since the end of the second quarter, where Madison Plains was leading most of the first half, and then Miami Trace went on a run, and they just keep pushing it ahead, led by Carter and Tyree, who Carter has 17 points and Tyree has 15. For Madison Plains, Ruzicka has 11 points, followed by Whitman with 10. Both those players have been quiet here the second half, which it really is amazing how Madison Plains has stayed in this game with both those players really being non-existent offensively there through the third quarter. So both teams will come out of their timeouts here, and we'll begin the fourth quarter. Madison Plains will have the basketball. Whitman will inbound it to Johnson. Miami Trace comes out in a 2-3 zone. They run and try to trap Johnson. Johnson throws it over the top of everybody to Whitman. Back over to Johnson on the near side. Back to Whitman. Whitman to the free throw line, Ruzicka. He'll shoot a fadeaway jumper and gets it to go. Carter brings the ball up and calls out a play for Miami Trace. Gets a ball screen on the left side wing. Throws it down to Brown. And he throws up a wild shot after he nearly had it stripped, and Ruzicka comes down with the rebound for Plains. Whitman brings it up, gets a play call from the sideline. Johnson with the basketball. Throws it down low to Ruzicka. Back out to Johnson, near side. Johnson to Richards, and it's knocked out of bounds, but will remain with Madison Plains. That was Brown who knocked it out for Miami Trace. The Eagles will take it out underneath here on the near side. Johnson. And he throws it into Toops there at the last second, as they almost got a 5 call, and Toops is going to be trapped. Gives it off to Johnson. Johnson skips over to Richards, over to the corner. Ruzicka, he'll tee it up from deep, leaves it short. Rebound Richards. He puts it up and in. Boy, Richards has been there all night to clean things up for Madison Plains on the offensive boards. Here's Carter driving, kicks corner over to Tyree at the wing. Tyree is closed out on by Richards, and he fouls him and sends him to the free throw line.
Was in the act of a 3 there?
Yes. That's only Madison Plains' second team foul of the half, and that's Richards' second foul overall in this game.
Not someone you want to send to the line, though.
No.
When he misses his first
He misses the first free throw. The second free throw's up by Tyree, and he'll make that one 50-46 here with one more free throw to go. If he gets this one, he'll tie the leading scorer for Miami Trace with Carter. It's been those two back and forth all night. He does. 51-46. Trace over Madison Plains as the pass is nearly stolen, but it's deflected out of bounds by Carter. Miami Trace continues that full court pressure that has slowed Madison Plains down a lot in this ball game. Here's the inbound to Johnson on the far side corner. Here's Toops with the basketball now, bringing it up. They break the press. Richards gets the ball in the short corner, goes up with the right, blocked by Brown. And now he has it, gives it off to Ruzicka, and it's right through his hands, out of bounds.
Good defense by the Panthers.
Carter walking the ball up the court for Miami Trace. They're in no rush here, leading with 6.5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter, 51-46. Here's Carter on the wing. Skips it all the way over to Cockrell. Down in the post to Brown. He gets doubled. Out to Cockrell. Now over to Carter. Carter fakes a pass but throws it over to the corner. Lewis gives it off to Brown. Back over to Carter. Carter to the wing to Lewis. Over to Cockrell. He'll get a wide open three-pointer, and he'll rattle it home. Madison Plains left him wide open and dared him to shoot it, and he did. 54-46, Miami Trace over top of Madison Plains here with under 6 to go here in this first day action of the holiday tournament. Whitman will tee it up, and he'll get it from deep. Quick timeout by Madison Plains. 54-49 here. Big shot there by Whitman for Madison Plains as Trace started to go on a little bit of a run. But for Madison Plains, they hope that slows down their momentum.
Full timeout. We'll take a break here.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today 855-OCU-GRAD or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Back here in the pit, 54-49 Miami Trace over top of Madison Plains. As we mentioned, Trace was getting off to a bit of a roll there here in the fourth quarter. And in the second half, Madison Plains really never inching closer than 3 points here in the second half. And they started to go off on a run, but Madison Plains hit a three, called a quick timeout, trying to get the momentum back on their side. They're trailing here by 5 points as Miami Trace will come out and have the ball out of the timeout. Carter was the big player for Trace in the first half, but for the Panthers, it's Ben Tyree who's caught fire and caught up with him in points in the second half. Madison Plains' 2 leading scorers in this game have really been held scoreless here in the second half. Here's Carter with the basketball on the near side wing. Skips it all the way over to Lewis, far side wing. Lewis defended by Whitman, picks up his dribble, gives it to the top of the key to Cockrell. He'll get another wide open three, and he'll get it to go. 57-49, Miami Trace starting to pull away in this one. And if you're leaving players wide open, they're going to hit that 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely.
Especially when they're not a bad shooter. And here's a pass that goes out of bounds, but it's deflected off Lewis for Miami Trace. It'll stay with Madison Plains.
Good hustle by Lewis.
They'll take it out on the far side, line out of bounds. It'll be Whitman inbounding. He'll give it off to Toops in the backcourt. Madison Plains coach Stewart calls out a play. Toops driving to his right, goes into contact and just loses it out of bounds. It'll go back towards Trace. Toops slaps the floor as he's not happy with himself. But they're going to need him to keep his composure because he's a key part of what's going to get them back into this ball game. Carter bringing the ball up the court for Trace. Gives it off to Cockrell in the far sideline. Tries to throw it down low, stolen by Whitman. Whitman off to the races. 2 guys try to stop him. He puts up a layup, and it goes. 57-51 here. Just under 5 minutes to go. Panthers on top of the Eagles. Here's a kick to the corner to Cockrell. Cockrell gets a ball screen. Picks up his dribble at the top of the key. Gives it off to Tyree. Tyree pump fakes, pulls up, jumper over 2 Plains defenders. No good. Brown tries to clean it up, and he can't get it to go. Razika comes away with the rebound for the Eagles. Here comes Johnson. Johnson jump stops, off the glass, gets it to go. And here's Toops who steals it, puts it up, no good on the layup, and Miami Trace gets it right back. Here comes Carter. Both teams going fast. Lewis at the top of the key, nearly traveled, and it's stolen by Whitman again for Madison Plains, and he gets it stolen right from behind. So Miami Trace is going to have to call a timeout as both teams really speeding up and things getting out of control here as both teams back and forth turnovers. But Madison Plains has cut this thing to a 4-point ball game.
They have. It's been wild.
Yeah.
Golden Eagles are not giving up.
They are not. We said they came in this ball game, the ones who weren't expected to win, but they could come out of this thing down the stretch here and advance to the championship game, a game that Miami Trace has won over the last 2 to 3 years, if not more than that, since I can remember. .356 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 57-53. the Panthers on top of the Eagles. They'll take it out of bounds here on the near sideline. Inbound pass goes into Brown, right back to Matthews. Matthews defended by Whitman, gives it off to Carter, defended by Toops for the Eagles. Carter gets a play, goes over to the far side wing. Carter gives it off to Tyree, defended by Richards. He's defending him nicely, and Tyree tries to pull up in front of his face and can't get it to go. But the rebound comes down with Miami Trace. Cockrell gives it off to Matthews. He gets a shot deflected, but he comes right back away with it and tries to give it right back to Carter, and it rattles around, finds his hands. Now back to Tyree. Tyree off to the corner to Brown. Gives it out to Carter, and they'll settle things down. Boy, a bunch of 50-50 balls here in the last few minutes. Here's a pass to the corner to Matthews. He thinks about a three, but decides not to. Back to the corner to Matthews. Matthews dribbling to the top, nearly gets his pocket picked by Whitman. And then he gets a ball screen drive to the basket, no good, gets his own rebound. Shot blocked by Ruzicka. Rebound come down with Toops. Madison Plains with the basketball, 57-53, under 3 minutes to go here in the fourth. It's getting loud. Richards with the ball on the far side wing. Whitman driving through the middle, throws up a wild shot and rattles around, nearly goes. Rebound pulled down by Brown after Richards comes soaring in and nearly rips it away from him, and here comes the Panthers. Carter driving to the basket, kicks to the corner to Cockrell. He lines one up, leaves it short, rebound Whitman. Cockrell was left all alone there that time, but couldn't get it to go. Johnson with the basketball, hands off to Ruzicka, top the key. Ruzicka driving, kicks it out to Whitman. He'll pull up from very deep, and he nails it! 57-56. Whitman pulled up from about 2 feet beyond the NBA line. He was nearly out of bounds on that shot.
That was nice.
Here's Tyree with the basketball. This thing's going to come down to the wire. Under 2 minutes to go, 57-56. Panthers ahead of the Eagles. Brown with the ball, gives it off the top of the key to Cockrell. Cockrell over to Matthews. He'll line one up, leaves it short, rebound Whitman. Madison Plains going to get a chance to come back and take their first lead since midway through the second quarter. Johnson with the basketball, top the key. Gives it off to Whitman, who nearly loses it. He's going to pull up from three, too strong, and it goes over the backboard and out of bounds. Miami Trace will get the ball back. Here's a sub. Matthews will head to the bench, and in comes Dakota Bolton. Jacob Toops is going to pick up full court for Madison Plains on Carter. They'll have to inbound it to Cockrell, trying to keep it out of Carter's hands as Madison Plains. Toops is going to face guard him. Here's Cockrell with the basketball, gives it over to Bolton. Bolton left all alone, pulls up for three, too strong. Rebound Johnson. Not a good shot for Miami Trace. Good game plan by the Eagles there as a quick timeout called by the Eagles. Both teams will head to their bench here. The Eagles going to get a chance to take the lead, as we mentioned, for the first time since midway through the second quarter with 1:03 remaining here. Wow, we thought the Panthers might pull away in this thing, but the Eagles have came back, and they're fighting, and they're going to have a shot here with just over a minute to play.
This has been an exciting game right down to the last minute 3 of this game we've got remaining.
And these are the things you like to see in these holiday tournaments. You never want to go into a holiday tournament with 4 schools really close to each other and to see, it kind of go blowout. And as we mentioned, the past few years, Trace has won this thing, the hometown team. But if they get beat in this ball game, they're not going back to the championship game, and it's going to be a new winner for the first time in a few years.
Right, and that game will be played, will be the second game on Saturday. The first game will be the 2 losers from the games tonight.
So for Madison Plains, they will have the basketball coming out of this timeout, 57-56 here with 1:03 remaining in the fourth quarter. It's been Jeffrey Whitman here in the second half who has gotten them back in this ball game. He has 16 points. He entered the half, I believe, with only 5 points, and he's came on fire, got them back in this ball game. And really the player who did it for him in the first half, Ruzicka, has been held to 2 points this half. So they've done it with contributions from everyone. Now they're going to have a chance to take the lead on this possession. They'll inbound it on the near side, out of bounds. Whitman will take it out for him. He'll get it into Johnson. Johnson Up the near sideline. His defender falls down, and he's going to try a three. Left all alone and rattles it home. Madison Plains takes their first lead since midway through the second quarter. Now here comes Trace, and Jacob Toops is just going to give a foul. They have fouls to give. They've only fouled. That'll be their third team foul of the half. 59-57, 47.2 seconds remaining. Madison Plains just taking the lead on a three-pointer. Trace trying to inbound, and Carter gets it into Tyree. Tyree defended by Richards at the top of the key. Gets a ball screen from Brown. Brown rolling to the basket, gets it, and he's deflected, almost lost it. Cockrell out, and he loses it out of bounds, but it's deflected out by Spencer Razika. Boy, you couldn't ask for a more exciting game than this in the first day of action, as Miami Trace is going to take a timeout to talk things over, as this crowd for Madison Plains has came alive. They've been dead this whole second half and really since the second quarter.
36.1 seconds remaining, and a 2-point lead on the part of our guests, the Madison Plain Golden Eagles.
Yeah. So after the first game we saw was really a blowout, this one is going to come down to the wire, as Miami Trace's chances of going back and winning that tournament championship are starting to get slimmer and slimmer as the seconds tick down. Madison Plains coming way back from about 8 to 10 points, but it was Miami Trace that has been in control this whole game, and they came in the big dogs in this game, and you figure with 8-point lead they're going to blow this thing out. But Madison Plains shifting momentum completely, and within the last couple minutes coming back to take this lead.
Yeah, and of course, my crew normally doesn't like me saying this, but could we be seeing OT?
We very well could be. Hey, it's going to be more fun for us on the air, right? We've had an eventful game.
This has been a great game.
Yeah.
Great game.
I know Madison Plains wishing they could just get out of this thing, because the longer this game goes on, the more Trace is going to have a chance, because they're just, according to people, they're the better team in this game. But Madison Plains coming out, showing some fight with a chance to win this game. 59-57 if you're just joining us here in the fourth quarter. 36.1 seconds to go. Miami Trace with the ball on the near sideline. Cockrell will inbound to Carter in the near side corner. Carter defended by Toops. Carter been held quiet here in this half. Driving to the basket, Carter, and lays it in. We got a tie ball game, 59-59. We'll see if Madison Plains takes the last shot here, as Trace still showing pressure. Johnson with the basketball, trying to get it across the timeline, and falls down and just loses the basketball. But jumping on top of him is Bolton, and they're going to call a foul, but neither team in the bonus, so a pretty good call there, and nothing really affected by both teams. But Johnson crossed his own ankles up and nearly fell down and gave the ball right away for a wide open layup to Miami Trace, but got bailed out by the Trace defender jumping on him, and now a timeout will be called on the court, both teams going to their benches and talking things over. 14 fouls for Miami Trace, 3 for Madison Plains. So we're probably not going to see a bonus down the stretch of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's not going to come down to a bonus. It'll simply be the person, the team that makes that last basket. And right now, I would say that Plains is in the driver's seat. All they've got to do is be cool, calm, and collected, and sink them a basket.
And you mentioned overtime here. If Madison Plains holds for the last shot and doesn't get it, we will see overtime here. However, if they rush things, even if they get a basket here, Trace could come right back and get another basket and still send us in. So we'll see what Coach Stewart and the Eagles decide to do here, as if they're going to take the last shot or go for the best opportunity they get.
12.9 seconds remaining in this game, possibly.
So the Eagles will take it out of bounds on the sideline, on the near side, in the backcourt. Whitman will inbound into Toops. 11 seconds to go. Toops dribbling the ball up. Gives it off to Razika. Razika to Johnson. 6 seconds to go. Johnson's going to have to get up a shot. Loses it out of bounds. Here comes Carter with a wide open layup opportunity. Lays it in as the buzzer sound, and Miami Trace comes out of this ball game on a last second full court layup by Carter.
Incredible.
61-59, heartbreak here for Madison Plains as they fought their way all the way back into this ball game. but a steal as it looked like Madison Plains wasn't going to get a shot, and a full-court layup by the game's leading scorer, Carter, and they won this ball game. Wow, what an incredible finish. We'll take a break here, and we'll be back to talk to you about it.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest-growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today, 855-OCU-GRAD, or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Wild finish here in the pit at Miami Trace here in day one of tournament action. We just saw Miami Trace take the ball game over Madison Plains 61-59 on a last-second layup buzzer beater by Cameron Carter, who stole the ball away from Matthew Johnson on the sideline. We didn't think Madison Plains was going to get a shot because Miami Trace defense, and it turned out worse for Madison Plains as we thought. This one looks like it's going to go into overtime with Madison Plains not getting a shot up. Carter comes up with the steal, runs it out. You saw him look up at the clock as to see how many seconds, and he took his time, laid it in with his right hand on the left side, and Miami Trace, in incredible fashion, comes out with a win, and to keep their chances of extending their championships in this tournament.
They're still alive.
Yeah, they're still alive. They're still going.
So this Saturday, we will have a 6 o'clock start, our broadcast start time, and that'll be the first game, which will be the loser from the first game, which was London, and they will go against Madison Plains. And then the second game will be for the championship. That'll be the Rams of Greenview against these Miami Trace Panthers.
So let's talk about the game's scorers here. As for Miami Trace, it was Cameron Carter who led all scorers on the night with 21 points. He was the one who also hit the game winner. Also for Miami Trace, number 23, Brett Lewis, had 6 points. Number 30, Heath Cockrell, had 9 points. Number 33, Austin Brown, had 4 points. And Darby Tyree came away in this ballgame with 17. For Madison Plains, it was Jeffrey Whitman leading them with 16 points, followed by Matthew Johnson with 15 points. Toops came in with 3 points after that. Holbrook had 4 points. Ian Richards had 8 points, and Spencer Razika had 13 points. And this effort, it just wasn't enough for Madison Plains, as we saw an incredible finish to this ballgame, an incredible day one action. We will be back here Saturday night to call the championship game and the game one of the consultation bracket.
I want to remind everybody, tomorrow morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., we've got the morning zoo, so tune in. And I guess until Saturday, we will say happy trails for tonight. So for Zach Bayless and Rick Phillips, and of course, we've got Tyler there over on the camera with catching all this last second action here from Miami Trace from the pit. Good night, everybody.